If you're not breaking shit in your business, you're not pushing hard enough. We're building really an empire is what we're looking to do here. Welcome to the 7 Figure Salon Podcast with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Rachel's breaking the set.
I'm sorry. I stretched and I hit something. And
This is crazy. There's a lot of cameras in front of us.
I just feel like I'm not allowed to move. My cord's tight. I feel like I'm on a leash.
No, we got you some. We need a couple things.
Still not as much slack as I'd like. But
There you go.
no, then you're going to kick me.
I might.
With your freaking
Because your foot is all the way over here. Right?
Yeah.
Right? We see that on the cameras?
I guess, but I got a bad knee, so I don't like to cross that knee.
I know you're getting up there. Getting up there in age.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I want to talk to you guys about, I just want to talk about problems, and it just seems like all we do every day, we just solve problems. Even getting this show going today, there's about 27 problems that I just solved.
This thing is still, it's still moving, and I'm
Is my rim light good? We got it back?
It's fine. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it in case it goes down on you.
I say, was it coming on? Was it falling on you?
I think it would have gone on. I don't know. I think it would have just straight smashed you in the head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it almost fell on you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yep.
But problems, y'all, there's just so many problems all the time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we think about business and we think about growing the next thing, the problem with the freaking microphone shortened. It's always something. So really getting in a habit of just solving problems, but not letting it just debilitate you in the process of solving problems. Because guess what? There's more problems and they're bigger problems, and you got to be smarter. You got to be more intelligent. You got to have a higher level of skill. You got to be able to control yourself better. You got to have more discipline to solve the problems that are coming after you solve the problem now. And most people are too much of a bitch to even solve the problem that they're looking at today. So they just freeze up and they're like, hey, I'm not going to do anything. That is the polarization in what I'm seeing out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, like in business, especially when you first start your business, it can feel like every single thing is like just devastating. Like there's this person quit, or not even that, just one person quit, and you're like crying. And I remember the very first person I fired. Her name is Savannah. Girl stole from me, literally like stole from me, and I was crying, beating around the bush before I fired her. And I'm just like, why am I being a little bitch? I need to just like suck it up. She stole from you. You got to let her go, obviously. But I felt bad, So, but now looking back, I'm just like, wow, what a little baby I was. But in the moment and at the time, I was extremely new into business ownership, and it's like I naturally wanted to believe that this person, could have another chance or whatever. And anyway, looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm kind of embarrassed, but also it's like, that at the time that's still the same. I have the same heart as I did then. I'm obviously smarter now. So when you guys are navigating problems, I want you to just think of them as just a bump in the road. It's a bump in the road, and sometimes you're going to catch some air when you hit the bump, but it's going to happen. You might get a flat tire. Not really, but I'm talking about in business on your journey. You might get a flat tire. You might get a freaking nail in your tire. You might have a detour. You might have a roadblock. You might have some sketchy person on the side of the road with their thumb up trying to hitch a ride. Like there are...
Don't pick them up.
Don't pick them up. There are so... Like, oh my gosh. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch it. And it just fell.
It still kind of works though. The light still...
Still half my face.
Is we still got a what?
Is my face, half my face pink? I don't care.
You're good.
Okay, so like, but what I mean is like as business owners, sometimes like the journey, it is a bumpy road. It's okay. It's like driving on a gravel road. Like there's a path, there's a destination, and it's gonna be a little uncomfortable along the way. It's okay. And if there are hitchhikers on the side of the road, okay, and I've posted some really funny reels about this before. You can't just like, I love a good project, don't get me wrong, but don't sit there and take your love for color corrections or your love for a good project and put that into people, so you can usually end up creating some your own problems and your own business that could have completely been avoided had you just stayed focused and not been distracted or detoured by charity cases of people on the side. So
yeah. That is a huge superpower, everyone's looking for this big secret, this big breakthrough, this thing to figure out or come up upon And really what it is understanding the basics and doing them really well and doing them better than anyone, being on time, really focusing on, and no one's perfect. Things are going to happen, but you have to dial in what these simple things are, because extraordinary is just doing the ordinary extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
All right. As cheeseball as that sounds, it's true. The people, like the top athletes in the world, or the best musicians in the world, they have mastered the basics. And there's no secret. It's work. Hormozi talks about it all the time. Hormozi is great. Follow him a lot. There's no secret. It's the amount of volume, the amount of output that you can do. And if you outwork, as Elon Musk would say, if you're doing a 100-hour work week, you're gonna smash the person that's doing a 40-hour work week. That's just how it goes. So there is an element of hard work. There is an element of pushing forward through problems and not getting devastated when you bump directly up against a problem or a major problem. You're going to run into major problems if you're looking to expand or grow something. Anytime you push a business, you're going to squeeze the business. You're going to squeeze the margin. You're going to squeeze your marriage. You're going to squeeze everything. So that is something that we're always working on. And we're by no means perfect. We like to share. We're an open book. We like to share the process as we're building really empire is what we're looking to do here. We're looking to change the industry. We're looking to do some really exciting things. We have a lot of we always got stuff coming up too. And we know, and I know we know, I even got to look at my wife to get a nod from this. Like, we know there's going to be problems going into these things that we're wanting to do.
But what's interesting is, although we know that there's going to be problems, we still find ourselves, like, as human beings, getting frustrated with each other at life. Think about it. You have 4 kids, 1 on the way. If you didn't catch our last episode, there you go. Surprise. But 4 kids, 1 on the way, and, numerous businesses, probably close to 100 employees now. It's going to be challenging for sure. And like he says, it does squeeze the marriage. And recently, being honest, we had a pretty, what do you call it? Tiff. We had a tiff where, like, we did not see eye to eye on something. He was hurt. I was hurt. He's tired. I'm tired. He doesn't feel heard or seen or important. I don't feel heard, seen, or important. So, it's like, it's the same.
It's the same thing.
We're having the same experience from the other person. And really, it's like, it can cause you to almost have blinders on, where, like, you think that, like I could maybe think, like, oh, he is the reason why I'm feeling this way, or I'm the reason he's feeling that way, when really it's not. It's like outside things like work, life, kids, errands, freaking traffic. I am so over the traffic where we live.
That's why I got a helicopter
It's
license.
so bad. Like, that kind of stuff can really, like, almost cloud your judgment whenever, like, there's pressure. You're overworked, you're underslept, you know what I mean? And then you've got all these people lining up who need you and have questions for you to answer and stuff. It can be a lot. So, so probably, I don't know, I'd say every few months, I have to have a good cry and, just get back up, dust myself off, and keep going. And that's the reality of business and life. And, Drew mentioned a second ago that we are trying to build an empire. And what's interesting is, I believe the empire we're building has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with our obsession and desire to create and to share solutions with all of our favorite people. And that's the honest truth. And if you guys know us and you've met us and you've spent time with us, that is undeniably true. We have people that have been working with us for, even a decade of time or more. And it's like, it's so cool because, like, obviously everybody that works with us make really good money, and have lots of growth opportunities and tons of variety, and they have freedom and flexibility and all these different things. But, I think when you lead from a place of just really being super into what you're doing and being excited and curious about growing and all these different things, like, you kind of attract people like that too, who just want to be a part of what you're doing. And the money part is obviously just like an added bonus, but they just, like, believe so much so in, like, what you're doing and everything, that they want to be a part of it. And so As you guys are dealing with your challenges, which you're going to have them for sure. We have them. You have them. Everyone has them. If you have a pulse, you have problems. Okay. So, as you're doing that, just keep your eye focused on like, okay, this is just one obstacle. And anticipate, there's going to be more. Not that you're trying to like manifest more issues, but it's going to happen. So when it does happen, just remind yourself, hey, I knew this was coming. I knew that there was going to be some other challenge for me. And this is just one of those other challenges. And the one, just like the one I just passed through, I dealt with that. I moved forward. I can deal with this one and move forward. And it's kind of just like one foot after the next. That's just really what it is. So when you can kind of chill, become very less be less reactive and more responsive to what's happening in your life or your business, your recovery rate is so much quicker.
And if you're not, this is gonna be a good clip, Brooks. Let me go clip. You ready? If you're not breaking shit in your business, you're not pushing hard enough. If you don't have major problems in your business, you're not trying. Because a good way to not get noticed is to not ruffle any feathers. If you're not getting noticed, if you're not getting pushback somewhere, then you're not moving aggressively enough, you're not moving fast enough, and you're not moving with enough forthright into your goal. I had a problem with that in my first company. I didn't want to. I wanted everyone to like me. It was really important that everyone liked me, and I didn't want to. I don't want to be a disciplinarian. I don't want to talk about the lack of performance. I didn't want to do these types of things. You can have performance, or you can have excuses. You cannot have both. That was another clip. That was good. We're clipping it down today, Rachel. We got to get more clips.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true though. Those are very, very true statements, and you have to lean into problems. And it seems like the every time we're about to level up, there is just breakdown everywhere, but there is no breakthrough without a breakdown. So you have to break down to have the breakthrough, but people are afraid of the breakdown. They're just thinking it's all butterflies and rainbows all the time.
Our yard caught on fire
again
last week.
It
was Friday. I remember I was in the office. I was on back to back calls, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it was this Monday.
Yeah,
it was this
here.
week. That's right. It was Monday, and I had 9 calls, and I think on my 8th call, which I was like, so just like nearing my point of like, I need to wrap it up here. When I was on my 8th call, I started getting texts and calls and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, Kenzie already calls me like a crazy ex-boyfriend anyway. If you guys have a preteen or a teenage girl, you know what I'm talking about. They're relentless, like just over and over. And I'm just like...
She just appears in my periphery.
She's like, Dad, hey, Dad.
No, she didn't say anything. She's like, hey. She's about to ask me for something. I'm like, wait, ask me how my day is.
At least build rapport with me first, Kenzie, before you start sliding in with
straight to the
request
jugular
line. Yeah. Well, anyway, she's calling. She's like, Mom, the freaking yard's on fire again. Oh my gosh, there's 5 fire trucks. And I'm just like, great. I honestly didn't even care. I didn't, because I was like, okay, it's the yard, right? Yes. Okay.
Our house almost burnt down.
Well, I actually, by the time I got home, and I didn't get to see the damage that happened because it was so late when I got home. The next morning when I saw, I was like, oh, wow, that's really close to the house. Like, I should have been a little bit more concerned. But yeah, what happened is we have a lot of deliveries and stuff that come here to the house, and boxes, orders, equipment. I mean, you name it. And we also live on 3 acres, so it's very and also we have our warehouse that is being rebuilt thanks to Hurricane Beryl. And so we had wood, we had all kinds of materials and like stuff that you can burn in the burn pile. And typically we'll burn on Sundays just because we're home. We're usually here most of the day. We can watch it, etc. Well, Evan took it upon himself because, which just sounds horrible saying this out loud. Our 9-year-old, who's very responsible, decided that he was going to go throw the paper towel, light it with the thing, and let it do its thing. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that when we're not home. Like, absolutely not. Like, that could go really, really bad. And it did, because and even though I don't think it was like a flame necessarily, what happens is it's certain parts of the yard that are drier, it'll slowly creep like for hours, and then once it finds like a I don't know, a branch pile or leaves or something. And it's just like, it's just like, bam, like huge flames. And so that's what happened. And then a year ago, that same thing happened, but it happened like 4 days after we had burned all the boxes and everything. We had watered everything down. We even used a damn fire extinguisher. And it was 4 days later that the fire eventually crept over to the chicken
because our yard
coop.
guy keeps putting all the tree stumps in the burn pit. So
I mean, where else is he going to put them?
In a truck, in a dump site. But we can't do that anymore. I got in trouble from the firefighters.
Oh, I know. I'm like, okay, cool. We don't need any tickets over here.
So really what happened was I was out here in the studio and I could smell it. It smelled different than the regular burn pit, a little smoky, but it was like, it smelled different. And I go out there, it was massive fire. I'm like, wow. Me and Adid actually came in, who's our nanny. We were looking at it. We're like, this is really big. And I watched it for a little while. I was like, okay. And then I walked, it looked contained and in the burn pile. And then I came back in and then Kinsey opens. She's like, there's a fire. I'm like, I know. She's like, no, it's big. It's really big. And I could tell she's not being dramatic here. So I go out, sure enough, huge fire that is growing, like it's moving. It's alive, and it's about to hit a bunch of brush, like big brush that's going to go over our fence line. I have to stomp it out, put dirt over by the house to prevent it from going to the house. I was straight up there fighting the fire, y'all. I had my Crocs on and I was out there. My feet were getting burnt. My feet were totally black with ash. I'm coughing, buckets of water from our Berkey water filter. And I'm running that out there. Kids are bringing water guns. I'm directing everyone, telling everyone to bring water. I go find all of our fire extinguishers that I bought last time. Thank God I did that. Well, we had 3, and then Darby pulled out another one. So we had that. And I was directing everything, bringing me the fires. And I was running into the fire, putting the fire out in the woods, like going through it, over it, straight fighting this fire, y'all. Like I was able to get 95% of it out, and then the fire guys finally came. I had controlled it, but the last fire extinguisher that Darby brought out, thank goodness, prevented it. It was exactly what I needed to keep it from going into the trees. And if it had gotten to these trees, it'd have been done. It'd have been 30 foot tall fire. It'd have been really bad. So
yeah, I didn't bother going on the Facebook page that day because I was like, people, they already know it's us. So it's just like, what's the point? Like, does anybody know what, is happening on Lake Forest? Like, yeah, it's us again. Sorry. Yeah. But I mean, there's, I don't know, a lot going on, but I'm glad that there were no casualties. That's for sure. Yeah. But the left side of our yard looks like complete shit. So it'll be fine. It's just like, we'll mow it and it'll come back
just
better
trying
than
to
ever.
put more wood in the burn pile, weren't you?
I wasn't going to do it. I was going to ask Angel to do it.
I told him no.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, 3 acres is a lot to take care of. I'm trying to kind of prep and like get things updated and ready before our multi-company Christmas party that's in December. So, just kind of doing things as we go because we have a very busy month next month. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot going on. Let's see. So, first of all, we're going to Dallas next weekend, or for the 4 days or so.
I'm glad it's in Dallas.
We're going to do a meetup in Dallas. So if you guys are in Dallas, by the time this airs, it'll probably be a few days from now. So please come to our meetup if you're in Dallas. We'd love to see you, talk with you, help you overcome any problems or challenges that you're having, whether it be something in your salon or how the hell do you...
How do you put out a brush fire?
How do you put out a brush fire? We got you. And then after that, about a week later, Drew's actually flying out to Cancun for a few days. I'll be going out there a couple days after him with the baby for 2 nights. I'm going to stay at the Ava, which is the hotel that SalonCon is happening at in January. So me and Henny will fly out there and get some content, tour some areas. I just have to see things in person for me to like fully for me to really see how like the vision that I have for the event, like how that's going to come to life, like in their space. I'm not like a floor plan, like floor plan's cool, but like I need to see it. So we're going to go out there and do that. And then, I guess a week later, we're going to be going to China. Crazy. Never been Never been that far, but we're going to go to China and get some incredible content for all of you guys about where all of our hair comes from and the manufacturing facility and all of the amazing team members and everybody that is working really hard and creating incredible products for us. So we'll be filming kind of sort of like a documentary of the process from start to finish, and all of our travels. We'll be vlogging that.
Travel montage.
Yeah, we'll be bringing Sydney and possibly Hannah. I haven't told you that yet, but Hannah. Yes,
dude.
Yes, it's fine. She's got points. She's gonna cover most of her flights. Fine. So anyway, we just think it's
Brooks
important.
Brooks has got to come too, because I need other guys, because you can't be stacking all these girls on a trip to China.
You want to go to China, Brooks?
Man.
No, you can't. Anyway, but we're gonna go out there, and we're excited to obviously experience all that. But it'll be a pretty quick trip. We're gonna be gone just 7 days.
It's
but
not
as
a
y'all,
quick trip. It's China. How
It's
is it China a
7
quick? What are you
days.
talking about?
it takes a day and a half to get there, a day and a half to
just
get back,
Real quick.
and then we're gonna spend like a couple days, like 4 or 5 days in China. That's perfect.
Quick trip.
Yeah, and then we got Thanksgiving. Gotta get back home for Thanksgiving. We got football. We got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what November looks like, and then obviously December is packed with Christmas and stuff and family and more football and all the things. So that's kind of a little overview of things. But I think for us, what we've learned is really when there's like a lot on the calendar for the month, it's kind of like a forecast of like there's not a whole lot of room for error, you know what I'm saying? So
Which creates problems.
it does. So but we know this going into it. So when we find ourselves in that setting, you have to just be like, okay, yeah, we talked. Remember that day on October, whatever day it is. We talked about how, we're probably gonna have some problems or have some stress because of the fact that, we got a lot going on in 1 month, but we're growing, and a lot of times.
We are growing.
What's that saying? Like basically, like the stuff you prayed for. You know what I'm saying?
This thing that I say?
You didn't come up with it. Somebody else came up with it. It wasn't you, but the one that you say, something like stuff that you prayed for.
Well, that's like all words. Everyone came up with other words.
You guys have a little.
They're all made up.
Little. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
Around here.
The saying that
Yeah,
if you pray
I'll say something and he'll be like, "Oh, all words are made up." I'm like, God, like
nailed it, right? So I think the saying that you're talking about is that you pray for a full plate and you get the plate, then you have to eat it. You have to feed on the full plate, and then sometimes you don't want to eat all that.
Different than what I remember, but that's okay.
What do you remember?
Just the stuff that you prayed for. Like a lot of times, the things you pray for, once you get them, it's like we're not really like happy, like not just us, but in general, like the stuff you like. If you let's say you pray, and one of the things I pray for very often is for God to bless my efforts. Well, I'm not being like super specific as to what efforts or things I'm wanting as a result of my efforts, but just in general, like asking God to bless our businesses, bless our efforts. You know what I mean? And in whatever way He sees fit. But
you will get that exactly what you pray for.
Oh, totally.
So
1000%.
wherever your effort is going will be blessed. If your effort is not going somewhere, it's not gonna get any attention.
I agree. Mm-hmm. So when you're asking God to bless your efforts, like the blessings can honestly become you could be viewing it as stress or pressure or maybe it reveals like a new set of problems that you didn't anticipate, but really it's a blessing. The fact that your like business is growing, which then presents new problems, right? Like a lot of people that we meet, they have like our salon, we have a great place. We have too many people that want to work for us and not enough chairs, right? So it's like you ask God to bless your business, and your business is being blessed, and you have amazing team members, and everyone's booked and busy and doing their thing, and you got all these huge influxes of people that want to work, and you got nowhere for them to work. Like that could seem like a problem, or we might chalk it up, say, "Oh, that's a good problem to have," But it's like that's a blessing. You know what I mean? And some blessings are in disguise.
Yeah.
So,
tricky.
yeah.
a little tricky.
It is, but I think that's part of the lessons that God teaches us is obviously patience for sure, because nothing's going to happen like when you want it to happen. It's going to happen in God's time, not your time, and that creates patience. And I believe that God gives you opportunities and challenges to learn patience, to learn and acquire wisdom. You know what I mean? Through different things that you've experienced, and those are all gifts, and in a moment when you're feeling it and you're going through it, and it can feel so excruciating, it can feel so just like so much pressure, like you have an elephant like sitting on your shoulders. But, a lot of times when you move past that season or that moment or whatever challenge, and you look back, you're just like, whoa, like number one, I'm proud of myself. Two, like, yeah, that was hard as hell, but look at what I learned from that. You know what I mean? So that's that when you're dealing with problems, you gotta, once you get through it, take a little bit of time to just kind of swirl in almost like a recap with yourself about the problem that you just went through and what did you learn? You know what I mean? Because it might help you eliminate a couple of things in the future.
Yeah, because if you go through everything and you get it right the first time, you don't really learn anything.
It'd be too easy.
You did great, good job. But if you look back on the wisdom acquired, you learn a lot more through overcoming those challenges, through the problems, and learning and evolving and expanding your business acumen, your financial literacy, your marriage, your communication, everything. So.
I think it helps you appreciate the good times too. Like whenever and also the person that you're doing life or business with, it helps you appreciate that person more, because you're just like, whoa, like look at all the things and roadblocks and issues that have come up, and yet we still hung in there. Like we still got it done. We still made it happen. You know what I mean? And like that's
what it's all about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there?
I have to go to the restroom.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm pregnant, so it's like all the time.
Well, we'll come back next time. Rachel's going to go pee. And you have a good day.
Thanks, guys.